Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. I'm Dr. Keith Fairclough. I'm your relationship strategist. And on this live stream, we talk about different aspects of a relationship that we can need to look at so we can improve our relationships and make sure that they're lasting, that they're improving, that they're getting better, that they're healing, so we can have the life that we're looking for with our significant other. And so today, I'm not going to be on as long because I have sessions I got to get back to. But what I want to talk about is about doing the right thing. And I think it's so critically important for us to understand this concept because unfortunately, a lot of times in our relationships, we will do the right thing because we're trying to get some type of reaction out of our partner. Right. We're trying to make them happy. We're trying to appease them. We're trying to calm them down. We're trying to whatever. We're trying to do something, some type of endpoint reaction out of our partner. That's why we do the right thing. And then when we don't get that endpoint reaction, we stop, which logically makes sense. If the thing I'm doing is not working, then why would I continue to do it? Right. What the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Except that doesn't apply here. That doesn't apply to this concept of doing the right thing in a relationship. As a matter of fact, I mean, we really could span it out to not just relationships, but to life, period. Because too often we're always looking for the reward on the other side. Well, if I say I love you, 5 times today, well, you should give me intimacy. Or because, I, was calm in the last 5 conversations, then, you should, do something special for me, or you should be happy, or something along those lines. We're still looking for the external validation. And when we don't get that external validation, we then want to stop. We then want to quit. We then want to give up. We then want to throw in the towel. That's what we want to do because we're not getting that external validation from our partner. Right? They're not showing up like we want them to show up. Right? You treated them bad for how long? You talk bad to them for how long? And now you've changed and it's been 5 days and they should just get over it like that. A lot of times we think that. I've heard people say like, man, how long should it take for someone to get over infidelity? Right. The greatest breach of trust in a relationship, giving your body or sharing someone's body outside of your relationship, the greatest violation. And the question is not, oh, how can I help them in this healing process? It's what's taking them so long? I haven't been talking to anybody for the last 5 months. So they should be over it now. They should be fine. So I'm just gonna stop. It's not worth it. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna be out of here. Right. Oh, I started using I statements last week, so they should be, just fine right now. That's what we do when that our partner doesn't respond. And that's another thing. We don't even understand the full, psychology and biology of the nervous system and how we learn patterns and things of that nature. And you don't just unlearn them like that. If you've had a bad relationship for a while and you just start doing a new behavior, well, we just went to therapy and Keith just taught us a SIR method and listening and things like that. So, they should be on board and change just immediately. You understand that our nervous system is conditioned to respond a certain way. So if you're always looking for that external validation, if you're thinking, oh, well, they didn't change fast enough, I was able to do it, so they should be able to change fast enough. And since they're not, I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to listen properly anymore. I'm not going to speak properly anymore. I'm going to go back to yelling and screaming. I'm going to go back to arguing and all those things like that. That's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to show up now because they didn't change fast enough. They didn't come around fast enough. That's what I'm going to do. You see the problem with that? The problem is there's a number of different problems with it. One is that you're putting the change that you're making, you're putting that on somebody else. Like you need someone to validate that for you to continue to do the same change. And that's not how any of this works. That's one issue. The second issue is if someone's been embroiled in battles within this relationship for a while, and you guys have been communicating poorly for a while, then It's not going to just get undone in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month. It's not going to happen. They're nervous. Matter of fact, you might do it for the first couple of weeks and they'll probably respond the exact same way. They'll probably still be defensive. They'll probably still try to argue back with you. They'll probably still try to, throw criticism and things. They'll probably still try to do those things. And you're looking at me crazy like, Keith, but you said this is guaranteed to work. You said this will work, You said if I did X, Y, Z, Keith, then this would 100% work. I just got to be consistent with it. And I've been doing it for the last 6 weeks, or I've been doing it for the last, however long, and they're still responding the same way. Well, for one, my first question is, are you actually doing it with fidelity? That'd be my first question, right? But outside of that, the whole point I'm trying to make with this right here is that our nervous system has to relearn how to interact with someone who we were coming at as an enemy at one point in time, who we were scared of at what point in time. You might think, well, I'm not yelling and screaming and arguing anymore, so they should be able to trust me and open up and just share everything. That's not how any of this works at all. You have to understand that if you're going to get into this, if you're going to really try to make your relationship work, you need to make sure you are changing, not because you want them to change, not because you want them to validate your change or other people to validate your change, not so you could throw your hands up and say, well, it wasn't my fault that it didn't work out. None of that stuff. That's not why we change. The reason why we change in a relationship is for one reason and one reason only. It's because it's the right thing to do. That's it. That's the only reason we change. I don't need anyone else's validation on the outside. I don't need anyone to give me an attaboy. I don't need anyone to validate or anything. I don't need anything like that. No. I'm changing because it's the right thing to do. I shouldn't be cussing people out. I shouldn't be criticizing them. I shouldn't be moving with contempt. I shouldn't be defensive. I shouldn't be stonewalling. I shouldn't be cheating. I shouldn't be cutting them off over and over and over again. I shouldn't be insulting them and creating an unsafe environment. I shouldn't be doing any of that. I shouldn't be telling them what they think or what they feel. That's wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. Period. Point blank. End the discussion. I shouldn't be doing it. Instead of thinking along these lines, we defend our behaviors. Well, I do this because they do that. Oh, well, if they didn't say that, then I wouldn't have said this. And don't we always tell our kids the same? Like, it's not about what other people do. You got to control your own behavior. What did you do? We always tell them that same thing. We tell our students that same thing. I wish we would have followed that same advice for ourselves. It's funny how we want to hold everyone else's foot to the fire when it comes to these rules and things like that and boundaries. But when it comes to us, we have 1,000,001 excuses as to why it's okay to cuss our spouse out, why it's okay to cheat, why it's okay to look at pornography, why it's okay to talk down to somebody, why it's okay to emasculate somebody, why it's okay to tear apart someone's efforts. We make excuses for ourselves, but God forbid anyone hold us accountable. God forbid anybody do that. Then we take on the victim role. Oh my gosh, you don't know what they did to me. You don't know what they said to me. You don't know what it's like to be me. I've tried so hard. I've done so much. Let me list my accolades and my scoreboard and all that stuff. And let me amplify how great I think all of these things are. So that should allow me to say and do the things that I'm doing the wrong way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Under no circumstance there's ever an excuse or a reason to do the wrong thing in a relationship. There's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. None. It doesn't matter what they say or what they do or how they show up in any way, shape, or form. You have to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's it. And if you do that consistently, I'm going to make sure I listen to understand and not respond because that's the right thing to do. I should be valuing other people. Forget that they're your husband, your wife. Forget that they're your boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance. Forget all that for just 1 second. Let's just strip all the way. Forget that it's a man. Forget that it's a woman. Let's just look at it as a human being who has inherent worth and value. Simply because of that, because you have an inherent worth and value, you're worthy of me listening to you to understand and not respond. You're worthy of that. You're worthy of me talking to you with respect. You're worthy of me sharing my perspective using I statements instead of coming across as blame and criticism and contempt and attacking. You're worthy of that. You're worthy of good treatment simply because you're a human being. That's it. That's it. And if we do something wrong, if we mess up and someone calls us out, that's another thing as well. Sometimes these our conversations with our significant other, they'll call us out on some of our behaviors, and we'll make all types of excuses. How often do we take time to stop and say, you know what? Is there any validity to that? Man, maybe I didn't like how she said it. Maybe I didn't like how he brought it up. Maybe I did. Maybe I don't like that. Okay, fair enough. I can have that. I don't like the way it came across. But as you're sitting down and you're evaluating yourself, and you're evaluating the conversation, not evaluating, oh my gosh, how horrible they are, but evaluating, okay, this is the information that came across. Was that true? Was it any part of what they said true? They said I called them a name. Was any part of that they said true? Is that wrong? Does that hurt? Yeah, no, I probably shouldn't be calling people names. Matter of fact, I'll give you guys a real life example. Never forget it. For the early part of our relationship, me and my wife, we would argue and I would tell her what she's feeling. I'd say, you're angry. She'd say, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. Look at you. You're doing this, you're doing that, blah, blah, blah. You're angry. And then, of course, by doing that, she then become angry. Right. And it wasn't until one day it finally clicked for me where she said, you can't tell me how I feel. You literally cannot tell me how I feel. And I went away and stopped and thought about that. I literally sat and thought about it. I think it was in the bathroom at our house in Florida where I thought about that. And I was thinking like, dang, you know what? She's right. She's 100% correct. I have zero authority or right to tell her what she's feeling at all. I cannot. So guess what I did? I stopped doing that. Did I do it because I wanted her to be happy or fulfilled or anything like that? No. I mean, she would benefit from it, but no, that's not why I did it. I did it because objectively it's true. I can't tell someone what they feel. I can't tell someone what they meant. I can't tell someone what their intention was. I have zero authority or power to do that. None at all. So I stopped because it's the right thing to do. That's it. That was all there was to it. And this is why it's so important. There's a reason why it's so important to do this. Because once you start tying doing the right thing to who you are as a person, now it becomes natural. Now it becomes normal. Now you're not looking for outside validation to say, whether or not this is good or whether or not it's improving things, because that's not why I'm doing it. It will improve things. If you start communicating properly in your relationship, it will improve things. If you stop hurling insults at your spouse, it will improve things. If you start listening to understand and not respond, it will improve things. If you stop interrupting them every 2 freaking seconds to correct every single little piece of information you think is wrong, it will improve things. If you start moving like that, yeah, it absolutely will improve things. But for it to be a lasting change, it cannot be contingent upon anybody outside of ourselves. It cannot. In order for it to be consistent forever, it has to be a part of who we are. And this is why I'm so thankful to my wife, to God, to the Gottmans, and to all the other relationship experts out there that I've studied, but especially my wife, and of course God, because God has revealed a lot of things to me as well. But my wife, because once I started taking a step back and listening to her and even taking what she said, and we might have had an argument. And then I go away and I start thinking about it. And I don't think about, how horrible she is and this and this and that and that. The first thing I think about is there anything I messed up on? Is there anything I did wrong? Is there any way I didn't show up as my full authentic self? Is there any way I was out of pocket? Did I say anything wrong? Did I do anything wrong? Did I not listen properly? Did I not understand where she was coming from? That's the first thing I'm doing. And I'm asking God, hey, point it out to me. Is that I'm doing something wrong? Because I want to make sure my behaviors, my words, my acts, I want to make sure everything aligns with who I want to be, the type of man I want to be. I want to be the type of man that's a safe space. I want to be the type of man who knows how to communicate. I want to be the type of man that can have boundaries. I want to be the type of man that can listen to understand and not respond. I want to be the type of man that can listen and not interrupt, trying to correct all these little details and actually understand and grasp where my wife is coming from. That's the type of man I want to be. And so in order to become that kind of man, I have to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Not because I'm trying to please anybody, not because I'm trying to save my relationship, not because I'm trying to do anything like that. I'm doing it simply because it's the right thing to do. That's why I'm doing it. But I'm telling you this right now. If you start moving with this intent in mind, how can I be the best husband? How can I be the best wife? How can I be the best boyfriend? How can I be the best girlfriend? Whatever it is, if you start moving this intent in mind, I'm telling you, the changes you make are going to make you golden, because you're not going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Once it's a one and done and won't happen again, because as part of your character is, I want to be the absolute best version of myself possible. So anything that I'm doing wrong, I want to be pointed out so I can fix it and not do that again. And I'm telling you right now, when you consistently do this, you're going to see problems disappear in your relationship. It's not why you do it, but you will. In my relationship, this is something I've done. And guess what's happened over time? Not overnight. Right? I took my wife through a lot of hardship and a lot of bad things. So the change didn't come overnight, but with consistency and showing up and like, this is how I am. I don't care what conversation we have. This is how I'm going to show up. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be validating, not judgmental. I'm going to be loving. Something else I just added recently. I'm going to be trying to be more gentle. Hey, how can I be? Because now it's not even about, okay, what did I do wrong? I don't want to do that wrong thing anymore. Now it's about, hey, what am I doing that's right? And how can I even do it even better? Because when I got the communication and all that stuff down, I learned how to communicate and not be judgmental and use I statements and share my perspective. Once I started doing all that, it was great, right? It was great. But now I want to move from great to phenomenal. So how can I do it in a phenomenal way? I'm doing all this. It's good. I have the great foundation. Now I need to be more gentle. Now I need to be softer with my tone, softer with my approach. And that improves even more. My wife's even more receptive to that. Again, because I'm trying to be the absolute best version of myself possible. And here's the beautiful part about it, why I'm so appreciative to God and my wife for all this and learning how to do the right thing, because it's the right thing to do, because the blessing spills off into everybody else. I'm able to do this live stream with you right now and share these experiences with you right now because of what I've learned from them, because of the growth that's taken place. And I see how phenomenal it works. And now I'm trying to pass it on to you. So I don't have a lot of time left. I'm in the last minute. I'm wrapping it up because I got a session coming up. But I really want to encourage you in a strong way. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Communicate properly, emotionally regulate. Make sure you're forgiving and having compassion. Do these things because it's the right thing to do. They shouldn't have to earn it. They should not have to earn it. I'm only going to do it if they earn it. No, that's not how this works. You will not get the change you're looking for. You will not be the man or woman that you want to be if you're waiting for them to earn it. No one has to earn us doing the right thing. We should be doing it, again, because it's the right thing to do. And it's because that's who we want to be as men and women. And so if you need help with this, if you struggle with this, if you're holding on to resentment and bitterness and hurt and all these things like that, and you find that's what you're struggling with and keeping you from doing the right thing, and it's keeping you stuck, and it's keeping you stagnant, and it's keeping you doing the same thing from relationship to relationship, then guess what? Reach out and let's get you some help. Let's break those patterns. Let's get your mindset right, and let's get you on the path to start having healthy relationships. Because you are now becoming the man and woman that you're supposed to be. All right. Y'all take care. Have a great and blessed day. And remember, and always remember, that you are not alone. Y'all take care. Have a great and blessed day.